I know it's only week 2, but damn does that defense look special. Thank you again, Jerry. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. 2-0 Grossi. And today, we are going to be talking about the Green Bay Packers taking care of business against the Washington Commanders with a final score of 27-18. And if you didn't get a chance to watch the game, the score really wasn't that close, as the Packers had a pretty firm grip on this game almost the entirety of the 4 quarters. And honestly, a big reason why was because of that defense. And heading into this game, there were some question marks. Of course, the Packers had a really big win against the Lions this past Sunday. They held them to 46 rushing yards. The Lions offense really didn't know what to do against this Packers defense. But with some additional context, is it just because of the Packers defense? Or is it because they're missing their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson? Or is it because it's week 1? It could be a litany of these things. It could be all of these things. And so heading into this game, the Packers had a really tough assignment going up against a very good Commanders team. This is the team that beat the Lions in the postseason. And just to give you some stats, last year, the Lions were the #1 scoring offense and had the 6th best rushing attack in the entirety of the NFL. The Commanders, they had the 5th best scoring offense and the 3rd best rushing attack. And so heading into this game, the question was, can the Packers replicate that success like they did against the Lions once again against a very good rushing football team? And the answer was a resounding yes. Now, of course, heading into this game, the Packers were missing their 2 offensive linemen, Zach Tom and Aaron Banks. Banks, of course, the guy they just picked up from the 49ers this past offseason. Zach Tom, who just got that big-time extension, is one of the best offensive linemen that we have, and that was cause for concern. This past Sunday, Jordan Love had plenty of time in the pocket, and on top of that, was not sacked a single time. And while he was sacked 2 times and had some more pressures this evening, that offense was still really damn efficient, especially in the first half. Taking a look at Jordan Love, went 19 for 31, 292 yards, the majority of that over 215 yards in the first half, had 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And one thing that I want to point out about Jordan Love, and he started doing this last year as well, is that he's throwing the ball away more, which I am a huge fan of. Because again, when that gunslinger mentality comes out, sometimes he's able to fit that ball into windows you did not know existed, and sometimes that leads to turnovers. But here, he played some pretty damn smart football. He only missed a couple throws. There was one long pass to Matthew Golden that he overthrew a little bit and that he definitely wants back. But overall, Jordan Love had a very good football game. On top of that, Josh Jacobs, 23 carries for 84 yards. They were hard-fought yards as the Washington defense definitely showed up in the run game today. But he was still able to make his way into the end zone, extending that franchise record. But the man of the hour on offense was Tucker fracking Kraft. Tucker Kraft, 6 receptions for 124 yards and a touchdown. Those 124 yards are the most from a Packers tight end since Richard Rodgers in 2015. So it's been a decade since the Packers have had a tight end get that many yards. Pretty damn impressive. Dontavian Wicks, 4 catches for 44 yards. Malik Heath only had 1 grab for 37 yards, but it was a phenomenal sideline grab, which actually led to Matt LaFleur winning a challenge, so a slight Christmas miracle there. Romeo Doubs had a touchdown, and Jaden Reed had a big catch that would have resulted in a touchdown, but it got called back because of a penalty. And unfortunately for Jaden Reed, it was revealed that he broke his collarbone. Matt LaFleur said that after the game that he was going to be missing a huge chunk of time. They were still hoping that he would be back for the season, but this is definitely a huge weapon missing from the Packers offense, as he has shown up these past 2 games. On top of that, we saw some different formations in which Savion Williams and Matthew Golden got some running attempts. And I want to talk about Matthew Golden for a hot second, because I saw some people in the chat were a little bit frustrated with his lack of productivity. As a Packers fan, this is not surprising whatsoever. The Packers are usually very cautious when it comes to starting their rookies, and on top of that, they definitely do not throw them into the fire. They usually ease them into the game plan. And like I said, Love unfortunately missed Matthew Golden on a huge throw that, who knows, could have resulted in a touchdown or at the very least a very big play. But with Jaden Reed out, I imagine Matthew Golden is going to get more targets, but I imagine that he was just going to start progressing week after week, and eventually by October, November, even with Christian Watson back, I think he's going to be a little bit more involved with the game plan. And with his speed and route running, he could definitely open up the field. And so I imagine as time goes on, Jordan Love is going to be able to find him more and more. But after the offense, it's time to talk about that freaking fracking defense. Edgerrin Cooper, once again, just like he did on Sunday, led the team in tackles with 10 total tackles, half a sack, and 2 QB hits. The Packers defense as a whole had 4 sacks on the evening. Micah Parsons, who had wall-to-wall coverage tonight on Amazon Prime, had half a sack and 8 pressures, 6 coming in the second half on only 37 pass rush attempts. That is an insane amount of pressures, and you have seen in just these 2 games alone the kind of impact that Micah Parsons has had on this defense, whether it's allowing other guys to get after the quarterback, get pressures, get sacks. It led to an Evan Williams interception this past Sunday. Micah Parsons has truly been a game changer, and he's still on a limited snap count, which apparently he's not very happy about. And considering the Packers have a 10-day rest period now before they have to face their next opponent in the Cleveland Browns, who knows? The next time we see Micah Parsons, he might not even be on a snap count. This gives him more opportunities to rest, also get in more football shape, even though he's looked pretty damn good, even when he's being held almost every single play. But on top of all that, getting an extra 10 days to learn the playbook and the schemes a little bit more, I can't imagine this snap count is going to last very long for Micah Parsons, and we are bound to see him play a full game. Hell, maybe he'll even be against the Cowboys Week 4 on Sunday Night Football. But besides Micah Parsons, there is another defender that I have to shout out, and that is Keyshawn Nixon. Keyshawn Nixon played phenomenal football tonight. He had 5 passes defended, and I wanted to shout him out because he has gotten a bunch of criticism from this fan base over the past few years, of course transitioning from a special teamer to a corner, and he played really damn well tonight. And so you got to give your hats off to Keyshawn Nixon, and while a guy like Micah Parsons and a great pass rush will make that secondary better, it was very apparent that Nixon, he was just on a different level tonight. And speaking about the run defense, you know, the thing that Micah Parsons is really bad at, they only allowed 51 rushing yards from the Commanders tonight. That is insane. And considering they only allowed 46 rushing yards from the Lions, that means that they have allowed less than 100 yards over 2 games. And again, both these teams were nearly top 5 in rushing last year. Commanders at 3 and Lions at 6. That is incredibly impressive. And that's what I mean. This defense looks different. It is only week 2, so you're not going to get too excited just yet. But as a Packers fan, I can't remember a start going up against 2 back-to-back playoff contending teams, 2 teams that were in the playoffs last year, and being able to have this kind of defensive performance. Damn, they are looking real, real good. And if they are able to keep this up throughout the season, the sky's the limit. Taking a look at what the Commanders did on offense, they were held to 230 total yards, which is the lowest of Jayden Daniels' career. Jayden Daniels went 24 for 42, 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, 19 total carries between both running backs and Daniels, and again, held to just 51 rushing yards. Unfortunately, besides Jayden Reed, Austin Eckler had a serious injury. It hasn't been confirmed, or at least as of this recording, what it is, but it was a non-contact injury and he had to be carted off. And unfortunately, this is one of the consequences of playing these Thursday night games because they just played a full game on Sunday, and now 4 days later, they have to play yet again. And for Jayden Reed and Austin Eckler, we just hope that they're able to recover quickly. Zach Ertz went 6 for 64 yards and 1 touchdown. He was their leading receiver for the Commanders. Scary Terry was held to 5 receptions for only 48 yards. And so that's what I mean. This defensive performance was dominant, just like it was this past Sunday. And that score of 27-18, there was never a time where the Packers really lost control of this game. Even when the Commanders marched downfield and scored a touchdown, the Packers answered right back late in that game, and this never really got away from them. Talking about the Packers special team for a hot second, McManus went 2 for 3. He had a long of 56 to make up for the one that he missed. And Dan Whelan, got to shout him out again, at 53.3 average per punt. He has been a difference maker and really has been able to flip the field. And so, got to shout him out as well. And so as a Packers fan, I got to be honest, I don't remember the last time I've seen this kind of defensive performance over 2 games against these kind of opponents, which are very high quality opponents, both who have great run games, great offenses, and especially with Jayden Daniels, who is a mobile QB who the Packers have historically struggled against. You got to give a lot of credit to Jeff Hafley. Micah Parsons' impact on this team has made a huge difference over 2 games. And now with 10 days of rest, I'm very excited to see what this Packers team could do against the Cleveland Browns. Hopefully we'll have guys like Zach Tom and Aaron Banks back, because then that offensive line will be at full strength. And like I said, it's only week 2, but I could not be more excited as a Packer fan right now. And this team, at this moment, just feels pretty damn special. Can they carry that throughout the entire season? We're just going to have to wait and see. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com, and a big shout and thank you to all the Patreon and YouTube members for supporting this channel. And thank you so much for watching. We're a little bit less than 11,000 subscribers away from 900,000. So I appreciate the hell out of you. Feel free to subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.